My dad found out like those pictures of me in like dresses and in wigs, and yeah, he was shocked. If one day a woman would make more than a man, then I personally believe that the woman should pay more. We're just like men playing dressed up, like dudes playing dressed up. I try to be a woman, but I don't know if I know that much about being a woman. I'm that bitch, and I thought I was on the top of the trans hierarchy, so like I would look down on others. If they're gonna call me a ladyboy, then go for it. Like I can change it. I don't want the world to be like this. I don't want any of us to have to force ourselves into like these box.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How are you today,
I'm good. Glad to be here.
This is exactly how it feels to be filmed, catch in 4K.
Yeah, I'm just like kind of conscious, like you said before, about like being filmed by 3 cameras, and then thinking all the time, like what do I look like on the cam? But it's okay.
Does it mean that you have some insecurity with some angle?
Of course, like I think one of like, because I don't know about you, but like me as a transgender person, I feel like I'm constantly being judged because that's what ever since I was young, that's what people do all the time. So I do have like a lot of insecurity about my look. Even though a lot of people say I look good, sometimes when I go outside or even now on camera, I would just constantly feel like, how would other people perceive me, like perceive my look? Do I look feminine enough? Do I look too masculine in some angle?
Don't
something
worry
like
about
that.
it. You look amazing today. So how did you start joining the beauty pageant path?
Well, first of all, I'm 27 years old. So like back in the day, around like early 2000s or mid 2000, I think Miss Tiffany was the only platform that actually represent like trans visibility. So like me as a young boy back then, I had to watch it because, I finally found something that I felt related to. And like, I just thought that, one day I could become beautiful women like they are. So that's kind of like how I started. And then it's kind of stuck in me. So when I started transitioning around 18, I just felt like this is something that I need to do in my life to kind of fulfill like this hole in my heart to be able to move on, like with my life. So yeah.
Sounds great. I mean, back in the day, did you have any inspiration from like those who crowned the competition?
Of course, I think everybody would say is like P-Boy, Shada, right? So she's like the iconic like transgender in Thailand, and she is the person that my family kept bringing up to as in like, she's like trans and she's like very beautiful and she's acting like Leo lady, like already. So yeah, that's what kind of like the inspiration for me, that when I grew up, I might as well have to act the way she does so that I become accepted within the society. I think I'm not sure if that's airable.
Does your family give you the pressure because of the person? Like, you have to behave like women, like, it's kind of like expecting you to act a certain way, same as somebody that they admire.
I think so, because at the end of the day, I think even though they accepted the fact that I'm like different, but still we are living in this like binary system world where if you're not a man, then you have to be a woman. If you're not a woman, then you have to be a man, right? So if I'm acting somewhat between then I might not be accepted. So obviously, like my mom used to always say that if I chose to be a woman, I have to be a woman. So the way that I act, my manners, everything have to be like 100% women like. So I cannot judge. She wouldn't like it if I like, act like certain ways, like, how trans do, right? Yeah. So she doesn't like when I act like that. But
Overly acting.
like overacting, yeah, exactly. Like exaggerating everything, loud and all that, But part of me, I'm like that because I grew up like that, and it's our culture is like that. So yeah, like most of the time when I'm hanging out with friends, of course I'm like that. It's just
It seems like your family has been accepting you the way that you are. Is it like this since the beginning, or
not the beginning. I would say I came out when I was like 13.
really?
Yeah, because I was in the ninth grade or something when I started to dress up as a girl, like at school events. So there are a lot of like events back in my school, like middle school, and I was dressed up as a girl. And I would take pictures and put it on my computer. And I actually like put my photo name like Jessica. So I think, but that is the family computer, and yes, somehow I think my dad found out like those pictures of me in like dresses and in wigs. And yeah, he was shocked pretty much. And yeah, I think they just finally like slowly became to accepting me after a while. But with my mom fully supported me from the start. I think she understood like, okay, if I'm like this already, then she would have to support me to be like the person that I want to be, just so that, I don't act out or I just stay within the lane that she is kind of building for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I think somehow our parents kind of know,
Yeah, exactly.
like how we act since the beginning.
Yeah.
But it depends how open-minded they are. For example, they can think of our future. They were more concerned about how society is going to treat us in the future once we grow up as a trans women.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, they're not so accepted at the working place. And I think it's really interesting that nowadays literally anyone can choose their path of career to work in any career that you like. And may I ask what kind of career that you are working on at the moment?
I'm currently a fashion buyer. So
how does it work though?
So imagine you're going to like a fashion store like Sarah, H&M and all that, and then you see like the range of like the selection of the clothes that is within the store. A fashion buyer is the person that chose those clothes to be sold at certain stores. So we have to work with like trend forecasting, market demand, like color selection and all that to make sure that like those clothes could be sold at the right time and at the right price. Yeah, pretty much.
Like depending on the season.
Yeah.
That's interesting. It seems like you really like fashion.
Yeah, I do. Part of me as trans kid, I grew up watching a lot of like 2000s movies, and then a lot of them are related to fashion, and it's just those movies made me the person that I am today, I would say, because I got like really inspired and I got like excited every time watching those movies. I still watch some of those movies like until today.
Sex and the City.
Sex and the City is one of them. Devil Wears Paradise is like my most favorite. So it's actually what's gotten me into working in fashion. Yeah.
That's very inspiring. Do you have any hobby else that you enjoy doing?
Quite funny. I do cosplaying. So yeah, I love to dress up as characters that I like. And then also gaming. I do play games like a lot, especially Apex Legends.
I've seen some of your videos that you can also perform like dancing. Is
yeah.
it? Do you consider that as your passion?
It used to be like 6-7 years ago, I think, because I think I did love K-pop back in early 2010s, so around there. So at school, when I was like dressing up as a girl at events, I would do cover dancing. So I would do like K-pop dancing, and it's also like a kind of hobby that got me around like the people that I loved like back then. So I got to enjoy with my friends, hang out with my friends, like doing like rehearsals, and yeah, just started performing. And yeah, it was great time for me.
Well, sometimes I wish I could do could perform myself, on for example, when I see people who are talented singing on the street or dancing, it's just like, oh, I cannot show anything to the world because I wish I could, but it's just not my thing. So you were born with a gift, talent.
Well, I wasn't that good at dancing. Like at least that's what my team members told me. Like I'm the one of the weakest members because I wasn't so good at like dancing. So sometimes I look kind of like funny and hideous dancing. Yeah. But I think like the reasons why a lot of people thought that I was good is because of like the way that I show it. So when I dance with like confidence, and I dance with like inner like like emotion and all that stuff, and I can do lip sync quite well. So I think that's kind of like distract people from seeing the fact that I'm like not that good at dancing. So
Well, I wish I could see some.
now
Oh, not now.
okay.
Were you born in Bangkok?
No, I was born in Singapore, like an hour and a half away from here.
I see. So, since it's not far from the big city, I mean, the way your parents accept you could be from they've been seeing, the bigger world, more society, bigger society compared to the countryside, which some people still struggle having their parents accepting themselves.
Yeah, I think that's one of like the biggest part of the reason why my mom actually worked in Bangkok, still does, but like back in the day, she would just come back home during weekend to see me, but on weekdays she would be working in Bangkok. My dad also like kind of grew up in Bangkok, so I think it was kind of normalized for them to see like transgender women walking around.
How do you feel about having this privilege?
How do I feel? Oh, I would say I really appreciate it. Like I understand that a lot of people do have like challenges and struggles within like their families. And as for me, this privilege actually made me the person that I am today. I would say like, I think a lot of people say that I'm kind of like successful. I wouldn't say so, but I think this is the biggest part because it's all started from family. So when my family accepted me, I don't feel like I had to hide being at home or at school. And then another privilege that I had was that my family supported me like with education and everything. So everything that I wanted to study, I got to study it. And with all of this, I think it's made me like, yeah, it's just the person that I am today, and I'm very grateful for it.
And for those who doesn't have this kind of privilege of living, can you shift your perspective to be and to wear their shoes and reflect how they feel, or how they perceive how society treating trans?
I wouldn't say I could because I don't have that struggles. So I think it's unfortunate for sure to see like some of my closer friends. I know that they have like these struggles growing up. So then now so now their career path is kind of limited, and like the opportunities are so limited just because like those trauma that they had ever since they were young. I didn't have that, so I don't think I could imagine what would it like to be them.
For me, back in the day, my family didn't kind of accept me because I have my brother who could physically hurt me if I act such a, such a tota. Yeah, and then after I've been using hormones at that time, after 6 months, it started to show through appearance. I look kind of like a more tomboy, more feminine. So it's kind of changed their mind to accept me more, to adapt. Like, oh, she prefer, he prefer to be called as a she. So and that's how they start to accept me. So I think I also live in the privilege trait as well for not having struggle for a long time.
Yeah, I think it was good for us then, because I think mentally is like healthier for us to live in that kind of environment, and it's really shape us to be who we are today. And one of like the thing that I'm doing now is just trying to make sure that I could like give this privilege to like those younger generation of trans in need. So yeah, I knew that I like got like the job that I wanted, and that I got the education that I wanted as well. And yeah, I'm living a happy life. But I know that like for like younger trans, like I'm not gonna talk about like the trans within my generation, because I could say like, yeah, somehow it could be a little too late to change things for them, because yeah, they can always go back to having like bachelor degree and all that, but then to change the perception with what the society is expecting of us, I think it's kind of maybe too late for certain people, which is sad, but I think it's the sad truth. But yeah, what I'm trying to do is just to at least give this privilege to like the younger generation of trans. And I think it's good that they are having a lot of like more representation within the community. They have more people to look up to, and it's not just beauty pageant anymore. Now they can see like, yeah, successful trans like working in different kind of jobs and all of that, and they could feel like they belong within the society as well. And yeah, this is also something I'm doing with Trans for Korea. So we are like an NGO group of people who are just trying to, like promote like professionalism within the trans community. So we raise awareness for the society to know that trans are actually capable of like doing a lot of things, and we can also be professionally successful. And then also just to like give like representation and inspiration for like younger trans as well.
Yeah, for me, I could have faced this similar situation as well, because my mom used to tell me like, what are you gonna be in the future if you dress up like a woman?
Yeah.
It's not accepted. How are you gonna be treated in the future if you just keep acting like this? Why can't you just be gay?
Exactly, that's what my mom told me too.
Right.
Yeah.
It seems like that's why I think being gay and being trans is completely different, how we express. And also with the attraction, yet people argue that, oh, if you like trans, if you like Ladyboy, that means you are gay. For me, I strongly disagree with that, because it's completely different traits. If I wanted to be a gay man, of course, I would be attracted to another gay guy.
Yeah.
But in my case, I wanted to be with straight men. So it's more suitable for, to look like a woman to me. And it's also suits how I feel within. Did you have the situation where somebody contacted you guys to help out with something?
Yeah, of course. I think there are a lot of like trans people who don't really believe in themselves. So because we have been suppressed by the society for so long, sometimes we kind of lost the confidence to actually applying for a job because we might as well think, yeah, why would I apply? They're not gonna hire me because I'm trans, so why bother? So there are a lot of like trans women that actually contact us and then ask for a consultation, whether it's worth it to go through all these like hiring process. And yeah, what we tell them is like, it's totally worth it because, if you have the right education background, if you have like the right kind of skill set that people are looking, then just go for it. But then the way that I would go about it is like we have to shift kind of the way that we're thinking, because sometimes we think that it is the companies who are choosing us. Why don't we think that we are the one choosing the companies, right? So before we are going through the hiring process, we actually have to do some research like regarding like those companies. So obviously you don't want to be working for some companies who are just like judgmental or homophobic. So it would help if we look up for companies with like certain policies that support like diversity, inclusion, or equity, like places like that. And there are a lot of companies out there who are implementing these policies. So if you do your research, you have the right skill set and everything, then just go for those companies and then you will be accepted. And then, yeah, there are some people who like ask us to review their resume, their CV and stuff like that. We also help them with that as well. And there are like there are trans women who actually like went into the hiring process and then they got like discriminated, and they would come and ask for a consultation as well, like what to do in terms of like like legal. So we would like send them we would send their cases to related organization who could help them like proceed to like lawsuit and stuff like that if like cases like this happen. So
is there any case where people got rejected and they would assume that it's because of their gender identity instead of thinking of their like being aware of their potential?
I think that's actually like the first thing that would come in our mind in case that we get rejected. I personally got rejected like a couple of times, and they wouldn't like those companies who acknowledge about like this like anti-discrimination law. So they would know that they cannot say straight away that, yeah, you're a trans, you're a ladyboy, we don't have the policy to hire like you. But then they would say things like, we don't think that you are suitable for our culture or our environment, or you could be too different, something like that.
So this is the reason why we have to make research about the company before applying.
Exactly. So we don't put ourselves into like a like unfortunate situation.
The place that we don't belong at the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think guys will be interested to hear like behind the scenes in the beauty, like pageantry in general? Like how do you have to practice, or how you have to?
I don't think so. I don't think it's relevant for other people outside of the community. I think what we can talk about is maybe like beauty privilege and stuff like that, like in related to the pageantry.
Since you have been in pageantry, have you ever faced the experience where people, of course you will be judged by your beauty, right? But have you ever been put in a different category than anyone else?
Different category?
Like we have beautiful like เพชรจีน เพชรจีน สายฝอ Something with the skin.
Yeah. So, well, in Thailand, I would be categorized as the kind of the beauty that the Westerners kind of admired, So it's kind of different than what most people in Thailand would like to be, because the beauty standard in Thailand is all about Asian beauty. So when we say Asian, it's like Korean, Chinese beauty, right? So like Asian with pale skin and all of that. So those women who are categorized as Asian beauty, I think, do actually
live in get more privilege.
Yeah, I would say more privilege in terms of beauty. Whereas me, I think a lot of people do also find me attractive or like beautiful, but then because in Thailand we do value like skin color a lot, being tan, then maybe like could bring down like the prestigious hierarchy like within the society a little. Yeah.
Also with the body type, like the level of femininity.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm happy with the way I look. So, but I think a lot of people would say that I'm not like quite 100% feminine compared to, those Asian beauty trends. So, yeah, I've got comments where I'm not feminine enough, or I'm too, what's the word, like too fierce, to fit in within the society. So that would be like my hair color, my look, the way that I represent myself and everything. So I would be put in a box where I'm just too, what's the word, like too fierce. That's what people are telling me. Yeah. So and then also because I'm totally fine with like the idea of like sexuality and stuff like that. So I don't find dressing up like in a more seductive way or in a sexier way is necessarily bad. So I don't think it's bad at all. But I think like because the society, they think, if people are dressing a certain way, it means that they are doing certain jobs and stuff like that, And because of those like ideologies, I do suffer a little within. So I do suffer a little. And because I look this way, I have this hair color, I do dress a certain way. It's not just like people are not thinking of me that I'm like so feminine or so pretty, like in accordance with the standard. They also make up assumptions,
I think nowadays, I mean the current days that we are living now, we as a trans, we kind of like represents the difference of beauty, out of the beauty standard traits. Like we can be lady who looks ladyboy. Can be ladyboy who looks more like masculine. Like people like to go to the gym, so it's nothing wrong with that nowadays. More like accepting than in the past.
Yeah, than in the past for sure. Yeah, but for me to put myself within like beauty pageant and stuff like that, of course I do get those comments. But when I'm like just living my daily life, not so much. Of course I'm gonna get judged anyway, because it's just normal for people to find like different people, not just in terms of like gender, but also like the way that we dress, the way that we hold ourselves, representing ourselves. Of course we're gonna get judged like somehow. So
how do you feel about the word ladyboys, since our show is called Ladyboy?
I personally do not like the word. I feel like the words come with like a lot of stigmas. And I think I come to an understanding that it doesn't matter, because, you could use the word ladyboy, you can use the word transgender, you can use whatever word, but it comes with stigma anyway. So before I would say no to the word ladyboy completely, but like now I think I just come to an understanding that we will be generalized anyway, just because we are trans or ladyboys. So it doesn't really matter. So I try to like treat I just want people to be more subjective, like about like each individual. So yeah, so when I get to know like the people, so the way that they think about me kind of change. So I think it's fine. So I'm not so bothered with the word anymore.
This is an interesting one when it comes to being called กระเทย Okay, in Thai society, we call ourselves even กระเทย กระเทย. Everyone calls us กระเทย. But once it's switched to another language, it might not be accurate word to call Ladyboy to be the same word as กระเทย. I mean, but the way it works, it's kind of similar to the N word for black people. It's like, okay, we can call ourselves Ladyboy, but you know,
Others can.
yeah, do you think is this fair?
I don't know. I mean, I would tell a person straight up that I don't appreciate being called this way, like in the past. But if they're gonna continue calling me that way, that it's up to them and it's out of my control. So, you know, why bother trying to educate someone on something that doesn't really matter to them? So if they're gonna call me a ladyboy, then go for it. Like I can change it. But if you would respect me a little bit more when I tell you that, like, please don't call me that. And then if you will respect me and then you call me trans or whatever, then yeah, I do appreciate that. But then at the same time, there are also like a few people who would actually treat me as a woman, and then they wouldn't use the word trans, lady boys, all those things at all. So they would just treat me like I'm a cisgender woman. Then I would also appreciate that as well. So, but at the end of the day, I just think it's just so subjective and it doesn't really matter for me anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, since we live in Bangkok, of course, is the most visited city in the world, of course. And when people look at Thailand as a whole country, one of the first things that they think about is probably Ladyboy.
Yeah.
And it's not even transgender. So of course it comes with a stigma for those tourists who come here and kind of like spreading negativity like to our community. And there are also some people who are more educated about the more understanding about the gender spectrum, so they wouldn't call a random person ladyboy beforehand anyway, right?
Yeah, I would say in my experience, I think we could say educated because that's the really big part of it, like how it shapes someone's attitude into the way of thinking. You know, at my workplace, nobody called me ladyboy. You know, nobody even mentioning that I'm transgender whatsoever. So it doesn't really matter to them like what kind of gender I am. So I'm just treated as a human there, just one of their colleagues. So nobody is really like, like talking about that certain things, like not the certain things like the gender things anymore. And then also like, I would say in the past when I went to meet up with like men, I was barely called a ladyboy by those men. So yeah, I just think it comes to, of course, how open-minded they are, how understanding they are, and also like how educated they are as well.
Also how you carry your reputation. Like if you act like a woman, like as you said, you were not so like overacting. So that could be something that people consider as well. Like, this person is more like a girly like, so we better not disrespect the person by calling them like misgender them.
Yeah, I would say I'm a little bit hypocrite about this because I know that like the only way to like gain acceptance from the society is to look certain way, act certain way, and I have been doing kind of just that, especially in like professional settings. So I know that I need to carry myself as like a woman, and I need to be professional about it. So yeah, so I guess that's the part of why I'm not I'm not being judged by them or like being discriminated at work. But at the same time, I do not believe in this. As in, I don't want the world to be like this. I don't want the society to be like this. I don't want any of us to have to force ourselves into putting ourselves into like these box where like the accepting box, you know, just to be accepted or just to be able to live happily. But still, I put myself into that box because I know I would, you know, be living more happily.
Do you feel any difference at the workplace where you maybe there's some advantage that you can work in a better in some specific specific part of work?
Well, I would say I do accept the fact that I'm biologically man, so a male. So I know that there are certain traits that actually come with the fact that I was born a male. So of course I'm more dominant, I am more competitive. And when I work, I would say I'm just more dominant in terms of like the way that I work with my friends. When in my whole department, they're all females. So I'm the only trans there. And I'm the only person there who's like pushing, competitive, ruthless, honest. And, you know, so yeah, I actually got appreciated got praised for being like kind of a woman with a kind of a male trait. So yeah, I do think it's an advantage. So yeah, I like the way that I work.
It's such a unique situation to work in the how can I say professional industry. Because for me, I never experienced, you know, the life that you have, the work path that you are doing. So it's very new to me to know this.
I guess we're just living different lives and enjoying different things. So
yeah, for me it's more like artistic, you know.
Yeah.
You know, artistic people, we don't care so much about the process. We just focus on the outcome.
Yeah, I used to be like that too. But like being put into the corporation, I need to actually like think of the process a lot more. But yeah, I think it pays out well, and I do appreciate being in an environment where people do not talk about gender and they only like focusing on like performances and like KPIs and all those things. Yeah.
I think your situation can be a good example of how trans community is like moving forward. Because once we are at the point where nobody cares about our gender, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
Like compared to in the past, of course, we are in the right era for being ourselves, regardless of your gender.
Yeah. It's kind of funny, like talking about this, because I think within like the woke culture going on now, I think, you know, I think like some of the people within our community are just requesting or like showing needs like regarding a lot of things. And when we are doing that, we're just telling the people outside of our community like about our needs, like we are struggling because of this and that and we need this, we need that, we need to change our title, we need to change our sex on like official documents and all that, you know. And I don't think people will accept that just because we are telling them like, yeah, we need it, you know, because it's irrelevant to them and they will never care, because I would say like most of the people are ignorant. Even us are ignorant, like during with certain issues. Like for example, we wouldn't care about why why the Lakai Yang is rising up, right? So we wouldn't care about that. So there are like actually farmers who are protesting about the rice cost and all that, and we wouldn't care about that because it's not related to us. And I feel like outside of our community, people are seeing us like, yeah, so what? Like, it doesn't affect us in any way. Just because you can change from Mr. to Miss, it doesn't affect us, so we don't care. The only thing that is affecting us is now you are invading our space. Now we don't know whether we're going to be marrying to like a cisgender woman or a trans woman in disguise and all those things, So I think it's the same as the way that I work in the corporation. Like at first, of course, people might be thinking like, yeah, if she will be able to do this type of work, she's not really a girl and stuff like that. But then like as times go by, I don't have to just keep talking about my issues and stuff like that, but then show them instead like, yeah, what I'm capable of and all those things. And then also like telling them the advantage, like what would they get out of me. So if you hired me, I promise that I will do this, do this, do this. Or the benefits that you will get out of me is this, and keep them reminded that actually I have delivered all those things already. So I think the way that like when we are trying to ask for something, especially regarding to like our gender, and when we're trying to like ask for more, we need to be more strategic about it instead of like just telling them, oh, we cannot go aboard because we are Mr. and it's not related to.
We don't want to waste our time to explain who we
like
are.
That. Yeah. So instead of that, why don't we try to find a way to talk to them so that they feel like this advantage them somehow, So yeah.
So it probably requires the good communication skill.
Yeah, good communication. So is this like negotiating? Like if I get this, what do you get out of it? Something like that. So it's kind of like with same-sex marriage before. Like the funny thing that we always say to like the girls is just like, okay, now if I would go sleep with your husband, we wouldn't be, punished like legally. And then that's kind of the way that we negotiate with them, like to support us so that, you can you can punish us as well.
One of the things that I used to question about is about the same-sex marriage is that in Thailand we have สินสอด and if you are a gay man, it's who is going to pay สินสอด for another person. It's like, so how does it work?
I know I would say the leading one. It doesn't matter who it is. So you could be the feminine one, or you could be like say the bottom. But then if you are the one who is like more successful financially, if you're the one who's like doing the leadership role within the relationship, I think that person could be like the person who give the สินสอด. Yeah.
Do you think it should continue having this kind of culture?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think after same-sex marriage has already working right now, I think there will be less people who actually pay สินสอด.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not sure about the cisgender culture though, like if they're still doing this, but I've been feeling like less and less people are doing it, because when we're living our daily lives, that's already, I'm paying for this, you're paying for that. And because people are, living together even before they get married. So I think this culture is kind of like shifting, because at the end of the day is when we're being in a relationship, it's all about give and take. Like you're not just the one taking and he's just not the one giving. Like for me at least, like it's like all about give and take. And when you are able to do just that, of course, like the percentage of like the expenses are not equal. Like just for me, like it's depending on like who's making more, who's more in charge, right? So if one day a woman would make more than a man, then I personally believe like the woman should pay more, but that's not really the case like in most relationships. So yeah, so when we are living those lives, I think when we get married, it doesn't really matter anymore, like the สินสอด thingy. Yeah.
Speak of the which, I've seen your videos interviewing with your boyfriend. Can I ask about this?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I want to know how you guys met, or how long have you guys been together?
We've been together for 6 years. Yeah.
Oh, that's
so
long.
yeah, it was long. I would say we met on Tinder, no question. And then yeah, been 6 years already.
So you don't want to go deeper in this.
Oh, you can ask.
How do you keep the relationship so long? Because of course, when we look at the trans community, we maybe it's I have bias. Some of them prefer to live their life in the like non-monogamy relationships. So how can you maintain the healthy relationship for long?
I personally, I do believe in monogamy. And because I told you, I have just been raised in the way that I'm always putting myself in a box, like of like a ladylike kind of trans. So yeah, I've been doing just that. And within the relationship, I think, yeah, it's all about give and take. So we share everything. So, but again, like I told you, like the percentage just like just totally depends on like who makes more. So when I like some months when I'm doing healthier, like financially, I would pay for more stuff. So yeah, and I think that's just like that's the most important thing in most relationship, I would say, like the give and take, and then she must just keep caring about each other, because like like when you're together for a long time, then the affection and everything just like would decrease like in time. So how do we actually like balance that and give like each other enough space so that we don't invade each other's space and make each other feel uncomfortable. Like if I would want to go somewhere, he would let me. If he would want to go somewhere alone or with friends, I would let him. So yeah, I think that's why we are together for so long, because I don't have like those traits where can I say this? I think like those like annoying girly traits, which I had when I was younger, but then now I don't have anymore. Like, why are you not replying to my messages? Like,
I think it's
where
about
are
trust as
you?
well. Once we
Yeah,
fully trust a person,
and all those
it
things.
just makes a life easier.
Yeah, and I think another thing, which is the plus for us trans girls, is that I think we are more understanding towards men somehow, like their nature, their needs, and all that stuff. So yeah, if it's the right person and you have like the right chemistry, and then plus with all these like broader understandings of how men are naturally, I think yeah, it's just healthier within the relationship.
So that's is it privilege as well to understand both sides of the world? I mean, both sides of gender.
I would say it's also a privilege, but I don't know if I know that much about being a woman. Yeah, I try to be a woman, but I don't know their struggles. I don't know, like the issues or the suppression that they might as well face. So I don't know that.
Yeah, especially with the period. You know, the period is probably the main factor of being a woman. Mm-hmm. Right, and we can only feel the estrogen based on the medicine that we take. Yeah. So it's probably not 100% feeling like how women really feels. So.
Yeah, we just it's pretty much just like like we are playing dressed up, like right?
That's artificial lady.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what people are saying. Like we are just like men playing dressed up, like dudes playing dressed up. I think it's somewhat kind of true, because yeah, we just don't understand their struggles and we don't know what it is to be a woman. But however, today, like women are also like so diverse in terms of like their wants, their needs, the way that they want to live their life, whether they want to be married, they want to have like children, if they are willing to sacrifice their womb to have children and stuff like that. So they are also, like women are also like changed a lot. So yeah, so I think
you're saying because of that, because of the fact that women are more independent nowadays, and does it going to affect like the population in the future? Maybe some people don't want to have kids anymore.
It's already affecting the population numbers. I think population numbers has been decreasing for a while now, because of course women are more independent and people want to extend their freedom, so nobody wanna start having kids at 20s, at early 20s, like what my parents did. So now I think the best time for having children, I would say, is around maybe like 35 to 40. That's it, when we are like willing to make the sacrifice. And it's more difficult when you are older, of course. Like for women, I don't know exactly how it is, but I would imagine that it's like harder for them to actually have children at that age, and also for men as well. So because of this, I don't think the reproduction kind of conversation should be, biased when it's come to us, because a lot of women or a lot of men, they are also not willing to have children because they don't want to sacrifice their life, and us as well. So why are we different?
How do you feel about those people who are less educated about having,
like, they're not
ready
to provide, but then they're still irresponsibly having kids anyway? Well, I would say it's irresponsible, but it still is their choice. So so what can we say? It's their choices. And if that's the quality of life that they're willing to give to their children, then it's just something that we have to accept. But for me personally, I would try my best to, if I would have a child one day, not necessarily mean that I want to have a child. I don't know yet. So if I would have a child one day, either from like adoption or from someone else, to have someone else to be pregnant for me, I would need to make sure that I give them like the proper society, the proper community, the proper education and everything, so that they don't have to be friends or have anything to do with like those who are maybe not so qualified.
The idea of having a children is also the part that comes with our biological. Like, we were born as a male, so deep down we were meant to chase and make as many kids as possible.
Me personally, no. Used to be. I mean, I used to be that way. Of course, I used to be like very competitive about mating as well. Like, I used to, if I want him, I need to get him, or I need to be with men. So that's what like this perception or the attitude that I had. But then currently, now that I'm in a relationship, I don't know. I don't have that need anymore to go around and reproduce. So I'm just in a period where I feel secure with my partner, and that I don't need to go around anymore.
That's fair. I mean, why would you have to be greedy and look for more? I mean, of course, maybe if we don't get enough hormones, we can feel like we still need to chase, same as men.
I'm not taking hormones all the time. So there would be a period of time where I take hormones. This is when I felt like I don't look feminine enough, or I felt like, like my skin is starting to break out, and then I kind of look more masculine. That is when I'm gonna take hormones to suppress the testosterone. But when I felt like, okay, this is the level that I'm happy with my appearance, then I would stop, because I don't know, in the long run, I feel like it's not so healthy with like with my body, so like my liver and stuff like that.
This is something that people don't talk about enough in our community. The consequences of using hormones, it comes in different level. Mentally, physically, overall.
Especially mentally. I think I'm kind of like sad when I'm taking hormones, and I don't really like that. Especially it affects my work life because, like I said, I need to stay competitive within my work field, and to take hormones and to suddenly feel down, I don't really appreciate that. So yeah, there will be times where I just stop taking hormones for like 2-3 months. Yeah.
How do you feel after you stop taking hormones?
Like a man.
Well, I guess I do know what you mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, there are some comments of the people arguing about being straight. You know, like, oh, straight men wouldn't be around trans, straight men wouldn't do that. You know, it's like in our society today, men, they're at the point where they have to prove so hard like how straight they are. But once they have proved that, and it triggers their ego, you know, to think like, you know, oh, you know, being straight is the best, like, you know, being better than anyone else. You have any opinion about this?
About toxic men?
Yeah, I mean, toxic masculinity.
Well, I think they're the least favorable kind of men because, you know, I think I don't understand the insecurities that they might as well be facing to act out that way and to try to represent themselves into, you know, the alpha male kind of type. So sometimes they're just like rude by choice, aggressive by choice, just to show the world that, yeah, I'm a man. Yeah. And I don't think anybody appreciate that. Even women, right? So no, I think women are telling each other to avoid such
Those guys.
behaviors. Yeah. So yeah, I think men who are soft and respectful are the most manly men out there because they know their roles, they know what they have to do without being aggressive or rude about it. So, you know.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about confidence. How do you maintain your confidence?
I have every right to be, I would say. I think, yeah, because I'm quite privileged. That's for sure. Like the reason behind the fact why I'm like confident, I think I'm happy about the way I look. I don't have any dysphoria when I look at myself. Sometimes when I'm off hormones, yeah, sometimes I get like dysphoria, but most of the time no. And I think, yeah, with like my background and everything, I think I've gotten good. So yeah, I'm confident like based on like all those things that I've built or the thing that I've been given, like both of them. So when I'm happy with my life, I'm happy with the way I look, I'm happy with my relationship, I think it just reflects out by the way that I'm like acting. I would say the only thing that I'm not so confident or insecure about is just how others are like perceiving me in terms of, you know, like gender. Like sometimes, even though I know I'm like so hot and everything, then, you know, like sometimes if I would be walking on the street and someone would be looking at me for more than 3 seconds, my mind would like suddenly assume that they're judging me or thinking like that they're clocking me. Yeah, that they could tell that I'm trans. Yeah. And then also like if I see that people are like talking and then looking the way that I am, I would like again like think that they are talking about me. So I'm still a little insecure about that.
Do you think the confidence is key to achieve your whatever it is in life? Like, you know, it sounds cliche when people say like, oh, just be confident, you know, be confident. Confidence brings everything.
Yeah.
So, and when it comes to confidence, we can think of, okay, maybe some people are so confident about a really, really bad thing.
Well, I think confidence has to also comes with actual results. So, if you're confident about something and you have like proven results, of course, people are not going to question you or say that you are like man, something like that. Right. So, like overconfident. So, but for me, when I'm confident about something, I'm confident because I have like results that I've done before. So yeah, I'm confident about that. So if I would go to a job interview today, I know how I can act. I know like these like records that I've done where if they ask me something, I can like answer right away and all those things. So I think that the right way to be confident. However, I think in the past I used to be like confident in the wrong way. Like I would be like, I'm that bitch. Like I think that's the attitude that a lot of trans people have. Like I'm that bitch. I've laid so many men. I'm like fabulous. And I think a lot of trans do that. And I was like that back when I was like early 20s as well. So yeah, that's the kind of confidence that I don't think anybody appreciate.
I think everyone kind of face the same, right?
Yeah.
And once we know this, once we are aware about the confidence that could gone wrong, but when we look at another person, we can also think like, well, after this period of time, you one day you will change, so we don't bother about them being so man.
Yeah, well, I mean, self-awareness is very important because yeah, within our community, I think we don't have that like from the early age. So we would just think that we are that bitch all the time, and then we would treat like others like horribly just because we think we are on top of like the system or like the trans hierarchy. And I thought that I was on the top of the trans hierarchy. So, like I would look down on others. I would like say like bad shit to like others like all the time. Yeah. But then growing up, like from that point, it's just life lessons just like kind of like taught me like, and then, yeah, why would I, be like that,
Well, in order to reach this point, to be who you are right now, of course you gotta face a lot of lessons in your life.
Yeah. And then it's always about the people you are around as well, because if you are still, like hanging out with the people with like this kind of same attitude and same energy, you will never change because it's all about the people you are involving yourself around. So if you are still hanging out with like these trans who are thinking this way, of course you're going to be like this forever. You're going to always try to find someone to pick at. You're going to always, find reasons to still be like the relevant or try to act as the mother, So, yeah.
That's a big thing because there's the majority of older trans who claim themselves as a mother who wanted to teach their their who were younger than them based on their experience.
Yeah.
So but sometimes they push a little bit too intense that could lead the person to face
insecurities and stuff. Yeah, I did have that. I would say I do appreciate them because back in the day, I didn't have like much understanding or experiences like regarding like transitioning and all that. And I do have to thank them for guiding me because without them, how else would I know like what hormones to take, what to do to be more feminine. Without these mothers, I wouldn't know, right? Yeah, but then of course they are the most judgmental person in the world as well. Like, of course, we get insecurities from the public, but also we get insecurities within the community because of these mothers who would give us like negative thoughts or give us insults about our body shape, about the way we look and all the things that it comes from them. So that's why I also think like our community is very brutal as well. Yeah.
Yeah, for me personally, I got a lot of the advice of you should have got like the nose job done. You have got like some of a more extra feminine feature on your body. Some even bully like if you have a little bit more money, you you could also pay for boobs.
Yeah.
And that's for me is that's not necessary for me. You know, having no boobs doesn't make me any less woman than others.
Yeah.
So that's kind of bad advice, but I can understand their perspective, right? Because beauty privilege is real.
Yeah.
So in order to feel like confident, the way that they feel after they got procedures done, for me, I think it's more like a cult, you know, where you believe like, oh, we have done this and we got a good result out of it. So might as well, they assume that everyone else will feel better the same way that they feel.
Yeah.
So, yes, that's basically how I got it.
Yeah, that's why I said like we have to be thankful to them for trying to, you know, like make us being able to live in this society, but at the same time, they're just so brutal, and like some of my insecurities are actually like coming from them. Yeah, but still, you know, when I'm already in that position, at first I kind of felt that, okay, now that I have like all these powers, I have to do the same. So that's what I kind of felt, and that's what I kind of did as well, because I'm like, I've been through this. I finally, it's kind of like career path somehow. Like, you know, now I'm the CEO, and then I have to be treating all these like, what's the word? Interns. Okay, I'm gonna be treating these
I think
interns.
similar to you know, below average, like family. Once they reach like above average, they tend to shift their like a political perspective, like you know, shift the hand.
So I treated like some of the young trans that way for a while as well. I would say around maybe 2 years or something. But because I have never went out of the community or the box, so I was just living in this bubble, and I was thinking like, this is it. This is my life. But when I went out of this bubble and went into like meeting like new people, doing like actual professional like corporate jobs and all this, like everything changed. So there are more things outside of this bubble. So I think just, you know, like if you're watching this and then thinking like, why am I the victim of this cult or whatever, you know, like just get out of it. Just
escape off the metric. All right, there is something that I really want to let you know, because you are my inspiration for as a trans who speak really, really good English, and I've always been like your fan. So I'm pretty sure I'm not the only person. And there's so many people who feel the same way that I feel to you. Do you have any advice or, you know, the tips to learn how to speak English?
The tips. Well, my advice wouldn't be different than like any other person, friendly speaking English person. So of course you need to just keep watching like stuff in English, like the news, movies, music, and everything. So I think mainly part of the reason why I came to that, because I started since I was like really young. So I would try to copy the accents that I hear on like the shows, on the movies, ever since I was like 4 or 5 years old, because I didn't have much friends. So I would just play with myself and then, you know, do all these things, like trying to remember what the actors would say from like televisions and stuff like that. And I guess that's where I got my accent from. But then growing up, then I got to learn like about grammar and stuff, and then learning more about like business English, learning from like news and the way that people like talk professionally as well. So I think that actually helps too. And then most importantly, you need to talk to the person who could, you know, like speak English to you all the time, and then just keep repeating all of that, and then it will become your nature at the end.
That was a great advice. All right. It's been such an honor to have you on my show. You know, I didn't expect that it's gonna be so smooth and flowing. This is probably the one of the best episodes that I have met so far. All right, guys. If you liked today's episode, make sure you press subscribe and likes and comments on this video, and stay tuned in the next episode. Ciao.